Hello, I am a mother of a child who experienced a reaction to a vaccine when she was 6 months old. I was a first-time mom. I discovered I was pregnant at Christmas time. So my daughter was my Christmas miracle, the news. And she was born a very healthy baby with high APGAR scores. She was physically 21 inches long, so very beautiful, healthy baby. And what happened is the issue of vaccines that started right in the hospital. I vividly remember an administrative type person coming in with a clipboard asking me about vaccines, and then at that point I said I'm going to wait to go to the pediatrician. So I denied vaccines at that point, but the attitude, I was a first-time mom. I vividly remember being made to feel like the disappointment or the disapproval. And so we went through the vaccines. The first round went well. The second round at 4 months, I did hear a high-pitched squeal. But being a new mom, I thought maybe that was normal, and this was following the vaccine after she came home. And then on the third round of the vaccine, when she was 6 months, and this was the 5-in-1 vaccine. And from my perspective, it was one needle, so I did not know about cluster vaccines and that there were 5 vaccines in the one syringe. But on that third round, in less than 24 hours, my daughter went into a shock-like state where she stiffened and pretty much looked like roadkill, and 911 was called. She was taken to the emergency room, and to my tragic sadness, I thought they would just fix it, that there would be an antidote to these things. The emergency room physician put her head down and said, we have no treatment for adverse vaccine reactions. Fortunately for my daughter, I was breastfeeding and she was receiving breast milk, and I was told to keep giving her breast milk. That was the only advice. So what helped my daughter was motherhood and other mothers who were also breastfeeding, and not the system, because there was nothing they could do. And my daughter from that point went on to have gut problems, severe diarrhea. She then went on to have like this back stiffness that I would see, I just kept giving her breast milk, and her demand was very high. And then fast forward to age 2 is when we found out that she had a spinal infection. So, it was very difficult, and they did not want to relate the spinal infection to the vaccine. They said, oh, well, maybe she caught it in her child care facility, because this was my whole thing in the first place with vaccines, where I thought that in order for my child to go to school or to go to daycares, that she would need to have vaccines. So fortunately, I got the list of what she needed as far as vaccines, and it was 5. But the day she had the reaction, she would have had 9 vaccines. And I did not know the phrase at that time, adverse vaccine reactions, because while I was pregnant, I was studying about pregnancy and I was wanting to do the very best things for my baby. The only literature I could find at that time was positive literature on vaccines, because I would ask, I'm looking for information on vaccines, and so the literature would all be positive. But then when I went to the ER and I heard that phrase, adverse vaccine reactions, literally when they discharged my baby and she was severely ill, I went to the library, and in less than 5 minutes I said, I'm looking for books on adverse vaccine reactions. And that's when I learned about authors like Barbara Loe Fisher. I also learned about Dr. Mercola, and in that one instant I went from one way of thought to another way of thought, and all of those books and also meeting different people who knew about this topic, also Josh Axe, helped me help my child, because nobody else was going to fix it, and there are some things that are not fixable, that I could just only improve the situation, and the healing process took many years. One thing I would like to also mention is the issue of exemptions. Find out what exemptions exist in your state, and in the state that we were in, the doctor gave my daughter a medical exemption because this reaction was severe. And so under the law, she was not required to get further vaccines. And I currently have also a religious exemption, that if you are a faith-based person, there is also a religious exemption, so that you don't have to continue the vaccines in order to go to school or daycares. My daughter is now 11. She goes to school. She gets awesome grades. She has outgrown all of my concerns. She is on an organic diet, a high vegan lifestyle, gluten-free lifestyle, nothing inflammatory like milk or cheese. And those things just has helped her tremendously. The other person that I met was Glenn Doman, who also helped me, and I couldn't have done it with helped my child without these people who dare to speak out, and this is why I'm speaking out, and I'm thankful that you heard my story. Today I do have a medical appointment that I have to take my daughter to, and some things are ongoing, but generally speaking, she's doing very well. I also am a faith person. I prayed a lot. I relied on my faith in God. I put her on many prayer lists as far as myself, and it's thanks to God's love and mercy also that these people were sent into my life, that we are on the journey of wellness and not on the journey of being medicated and things. So thanks for hearing my story.